Welcome back to the channel. Today I am starting a new project doing some cabinetry. And for this project I bought a new tool, the Kreg Accu-Cut XL. When I came across this tool, it looked like a really solid, affordable alternative to a dedicated track saw, which can be really expensive. So on this video I'm going to get it set up, make some cabinets with it, and let you know what I think.
We are Alex and Elena, a couple in our mid-20s working towards financial independence and self-sustainability.
Follow our journey as we grow, build, fix, and learn the skills we need to get us there.
The Accu-Cut XL is the same as the regular Accu-Cut, just with 2 extra track sections to allow you to cut a full 8-foot sheet of plywood. I always think Kreg does quite a nice job with their packaging. I'm going to go ahead and watch this video. Find yourself a flat work surface and lay your tracks out. You're going to have 2 pairs of 2 track sections. Align them with the arrows at the center.
Going to flip them over. Put the 2 steel bars in about halfway in. Take your set screws and put them in just snug, not over tight. Slide the tracks together up against your level. And tighten down.
I used alcohol to clean my tracks off, and it was really cold out in my shop, so to help adhesion I also used my heat gun to heat up both the tracks and the guide strips. Apply the guide strips starting at the middle joint. Don't worry if there's a little bit of overlap in the strips on your outer joints. The middle one's the most important.
Unintended benefit of using the heat gun, get to thaw my hands out. Then apply these 4 labels to the 4 track sections left to right so you can take them apart and be able to put them back together the same way. Flip the track over.
What the hell does this go in here?
Slide in your starting block. That's it for the track for the time being. Now we can turn to the sled. First step is this filler strip. You can either have the angled side or the flat side up depending on your saw. I'll be using my setup with this DeWalt cordless 20-volt saw. It's pretty standard. And the leading edge on this saw is tapered. So I'll leave the ramp side of the filler strip facing upward to support that. Next you want to take this alignment block off and loosen these 2 set screws. And sit the saw on. I'm going to roughly center the blade in this opening here. So I want to tighten the set screws just barely enough to hold the saw on.
Now the idea is to sit the whole assembly on the track the way it's supposed to go.
And you're going to play with saw blade positioning left to right until it just takes a 32nd of an inch off that guide strip.
Once you've got it set right, tighten your set screws down and then reinstall your indexing block. This way you can easily just loosen these screws, take your saw off, and then when you want to go and use it again, the block's set correctly, you just put your saw on, tighten the screws, and you're good to go. The instructions recommend a 40-tooth blade for the best performance, which I did not have. I had a 24-tooth on, so I just got this $14 blade off Amazon to do all my cabinetry with. So I got my cut station set up here. I'm using a piece of 1.5 inch polystyrene. This one I found at Home Depot was damaged. They gave me half off, so it was only 12 bucks. And that is going to be what supports all my plywood fully when I cut it for these cabinets. Now I'm about to make the test cut for this thing. I've already made a couple observations I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of. First of all, the saw is only held by these 2 set screws to this base plate. So when you tighten them down, there's nothing holding the back on, and the saw sits up off the back of the base plate. The only thing to hold it down is gravity and the weight of the saw when you go to actually use it. So here's the saw sitting on the starting block. You can see it's still got that gap in the base plate. Now also the whole front edge of this sits up off, and it doesn't engage with the guide rails. So consequently, this thing can walk left and right probably 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna go ahead and do the guide strip trim on this and make a few cabinets and see if that hurts performance at all, and what I do and don't like about it. Here's the result of the guide strip cut. It does look pretty darn straight. In comparison, here's a hand cut version.
I got to work cutting out the components of my cabinet boxes, and I gotta say my initial concerns really weren't much of an issue. Cutting with this tool was way straighter than I've ever done before by hand, and a lot faster because I didn't have to scribe a line to follow manually. My dust collection for this saw is really non-existent, and that's one thing a track saw would definitely have an advantage with. For the plunge cutting ability, I didn't really miss it, but that is also something that track saws can do that this setup cannot. I did notice after several cuts, the very beginning of the guide strip started to wear down a little bit, so I just had to adjust my measuring location to be a little bit further up on the plywood panel so that when I was lining it up, I was not on the worn down section of the strip. It didn't affect how straight it cut. Even with the 40-tooth blade, I got quite a bit of splintering. I'm not really sure whether that was operator error or what, but the zero clearance insert didn't seem to help splintering a whole lot. These panels were measured and cut separately, so you can see how close they are in size. And here are the boxes after I got them all together.
I have done a lot of cutting with this system so far and doing all of my cabinet boxes, and I still have a lot more to go with the drawers. The one thing I'm noticing as I'm assembling everything is just how insanely precise things are compared to me hand cutting it and just trying to focus on keeping a straight line. It is literally just a whole different world. Now, while I don't have a $600 Festool track saw to compare this to, I can say that for the budget woodworker, this is probably as close as you can get. It has increased the precision of my cabinets like tenfold. So if you're considering doing a set of cabinets or something that you're gonna be ripping down large sheet goods, I would copy this exact setup. I will never rip down another piece of sheet good on a table saw or try to hand cut it with a circular saw by eye. It's just too difficult to maintain precision over full 8-foot runs, and this just makes it so much easier. So in closing, I definitely think the Accu-Cut was worth the price. I would definitely go with the 8-foot length so that you can rip down full-size sheet goods. Like I said, I'm super happy that I got the tool. Thanks for watching. If you got something out of this review, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.